Like quite a few people here, I'm imagining, I grew up through the many manifestations of David Bowie within the music industry, from the early 70s and all the way up to his death. The one thing about David Bowie, apart from his amazing music, was his intelligence and his prescient way of foreseeing the power of the internet that was coming. And that was way back in 1998. One of the quotes for David Bowie on the internet is, "It's exhilarating and at the same time terrifying." David Bowie foresaw the revolutionary impact that the internet was about to have on the world in 1999. He said, "I think the potential of what the internet is going to do to society, both good and bad, is unimaginable. I think we're actually on the cusp of something exhilarating and terrifying." "It's just a tool though?" asked the interviewer. Bowie said, No, it's not. It's an alien life form." So now, 20 odd years later, many people I think would agree that the influence of the internet has tilted more towards the terrifying than the exhilarating. Not trying to be negative here, but it's interesting that somebody of his calibre could foresee what was about to happen, potentially. Bowie, in the 1990s or even into 2016, the technology he felt had replaced the role that music played on his generation. And he said, "If I was 19 again, I'd bypass music and go right to the internet." And he set up something called BowieNet, and it was ahead of its time. It was a visual and interactive site offering photos, news feeds, song tracks, along with chat rooms where he would show up. Bowie knew the audience's power and wanted to create an online community around his work. Through his Ultrastar company, he negotiated deals to give users access to music services like the Rolling Stone network, which live-streamed concerts, and Music Boulevard, one of the first companies to offer paid-for downloadable music tracks. The ISP provided every user with 5 megabytes of web space, encouraging them to create and share their own websites. There were also forums and live chat sections where Bowie, as I say, would conduct live web chats. This was in effect a music-centric social network, several years before the emergence of sector leaders like Friendstar and MySpace. The site was also technologically ambitious, at a time when most homepages were simple constructs of text and still images on a default grey background, of which I remember when I started working. BowieNet used emerging plugins like Flash and Real Audio to provide animating graphics and downloadable music clips. As you can imagine, they weren't the best, the audio and the video quality. In 1998, downloads and live streams were choking on the 56k modems that most people used. This wasn't the first time that Bowie had been an innovator. Back in 1996, when there was less than 40 million people on the internet, he released the song Telling Lies online, and 300,000 people downloaded it. The simple fact was, he was ahead of his time, as always. And this is just a brief, I don't know whether you want to call it a history lesson or memories of this man as I followed him through his career. He's still much missed. He was a phenomenon, and he was highly intelligent, and his life certainly wasn't on Mars. Take care, and remember, many of us so-called boomers created the internet in the late 1980s and have been working and are still working on the internet for work and many other reasons since. So we are not toothless, ageing, grey-haired grannies and grandpas that don't know what we're doing. We are all too aware of the internet's power. And we are, as we all know, at a point with YouTubes and Twitter and all the social platforms of trying to gain control to help people who are now suffering harassment and abuse on a massive, massive scale. And we need to think forward for our next generations coming on and the ones already damaged. And we need to help them. And we must find a way. Take care. Carrie Pink.